Hi, I'm Michele Duffy, Editor-in-Chief of American Quilter magazine, published by the American Quilter Society. With me today is Joni Morgan, who's won a second place ribbon in our Modern Wall Quilts category. Well, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I jumped in the car on Tuesday and came up. Since I won a ribbon, I wanted to see it hanging in the show, so here I am.
And you said earlier this is your first ribbon?
This is my first ribbon, so I'm pretty excited and delighted. I'm very honored and humbled, I guess, as well.
Oh, yeah. That's so sweet. Well, tell me, how long have you been quilting?
Oh, I've been quilting for maybe 8 years. Before that, I was a garment sewer, so it came pretty naturally to me to just move right into quilting. So.
Okay, and what about modern quilts?
Modern quilts are something that really struck me. It was just part of, I really liked the look of them and kind of moved that in that direction after I learned a lot of really good technique. Kind of broke away from some of the good technique and tried some different things. So,
great. So you were a traditional quilter originally?
In the beginning, I did. I had patterns and fabric all picked out, and the way I work now is I just start and I decide, once I do a little bit more, I'll decide where to go next. And so it's a very different kind of process for me.
An intuitive process for you?
I think so. I think so.
Great. Well, can you show us where you started here and then kind of tell us how it
Sure.
out from there?
In the last few years, I've really kind of grabbed onto like a medallion style quilt, and as you can see, I started with this fabric in the middle. I think it's a linen Japanese fabric. And from there, I started out into rounds and came up with the first round and sat back and looked and thought some more, and then decided what to do next in the next round. And I just continued working my way out from the center for this quilt until I felt like it was finished. So.
Okay. Were there any challenges?
There were some challenges, but not really, because I feel like I'm kind of a liberated quilter as well. I wasn't too concerned about getting everything perfect, because if it's not perfect, it's just a design element at that point. So, but I did try some new things on this quilt, and I always like to try new things on every quilt. And I picked up some metallic threads and outlined all of the birds in the metallic thread, as well as the flying geese, just to give it a little bit different look, something new for me.
I find that this design element of the flying geese here is really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, it was just something I had to play with, because it does move like that and there is no pattern. I just went about and cut my flying geese, and from there I cut the background and sewed them piece by piece. I just laid them out like I wanted them to look, and then just started sewing. So, and I wanted them to wave around the quilt, and in no certain wave movement, just keep waving. So I think they did, and I put some kind of brighter colors in there so that everything could pop real nicely.
Yeah, and speaking of quilting, down here, I see, is this your quilting, or did you send this out to be quilted?
No, this is all my quilting, and it's all done on my home sewing machine, so I don't have a long arm or anything. It's something that may be in my future, but for now I'm pretty comfortable with quilting on my home sewing machine. I think I feel pretty comfortable doing that, and I'm pretty pleased with the result.
Hi, and we're back again with Joni Morgan, who has a quilt in our Modern Quilt Challenge traveling exhibit. Okay, so Joni, tell us a little bit about this quilt.
Well, this quilt, it's named after the county that I live in Kentucky, Boyle County. It's called Autumn in Boyle County, and it's made very similarly, or my thought process for creating this quilt is similar to my other quilt. I started with a fabric in the center, and I worked my way out, creating as I went along, and that's kind of how I came about with this pattern. That it's also an original and it's also machine quilted on my home machine.
Okay, were there any challenges in this quilt?
There were some challenges, and I like to challenge myself on every quilt that I do. So there were some different elements that I tried to create. These little pieces that I added in here, I especially liked. I thought it gave it a lot of movement. I like a lot of movement in my quilts, and I think this certainly has a lot of movement. So that was really fun for me to just try something new and different. And I'm glad to see this quilt again since it left home a while ago, and it'll be back at some point. But since it's gone for a year, it's like, oh, there's my quilt, and I almost forgot what it looked like. So it was fun to see it again.
And I see that we're still working, this is part of the Gray series.
It is part of the Gray series, it certainly is. And I've had several other gray quilts as well with kind of a gray background. I really like the way that the color pops on the gray.
You know, I noticed on both of your quilts you have really bright, vibrant colors. Is that normally a palette that you work with?
I think it is. It's something that it draws my eye, and really I think it captures other people's eyes as well. Just all the bright colors on the gray or backgrounds. And so it's something that I really enjoy doing. And with quilting, I just really have to like what I'm doing to continue on and finish it up. And at some point, I get excited and stay up late just to see where it's going and what it's going to look like, and that's always fun. You need to enjoy what it is you're doing. So this has been really a fun quilt for me as well.
Great. I'm curious too, do you have any influences from other quilters?
Well, about 4 years ago, I attended a workshop of Gwen Marston's, and Gwen gave us very little instruction. She called me before I came and she said, just pull out my latest book and look through there and see something that you liked. And then toward the back of the book, she had some medallion quilts. And so I thought, well, I would try medallion quilts. And I think I've been stuck there ever since. I have done some other things, but I'm always drawn back to the medallion quilts. And there was even the quilt that I had started at her workshop was in one of her books. So I was pretty excited about that as well.
Well, I think Gwen would be thrilled
I think she would too. I think she would too.
And I'm sure she will on Quilt TV. Thank you for entering the AQS Quiltweek competition in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your ribbon, and will we see anything from you in the future?
I hope so. We'll see what I've got in store, and maybe it'll have to show up in another show sometime. So this has been really fun for me, and I just enjoy quilting, so this is just another level of something that I love to do.
Okay, well, are you an AQS member?
I am.
Well,
so
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and hopefully we'll see another quilt soon.
Yes, I hope so too.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on AQS Quiltweek.